You know, investigating a random sound that probably belongs to the spawn of hell just because it's, quote, annoying as hell, isn't the best decision. For all we know, it could be a Wendigo, though we would have dealt with that relatively easily considering the circumstances. I turned on the flashlight on the barrel of my tactical shotgun as we entered the thick brush. We went in deeper, to the point where we couldn't hear the group at the shore. The rustling noise was coming from the north, deeper in the thick brush. And let me just say, it was loud. It was as if a 2-ton elephant was jumping around the forest, trying to make as much noise as possible. And all of a sudden, we heard a loud screech that ran through the air. My heart dropped, and I looked at Zach. What the hell was that? He frowned.
Sounds like a Grootslang.
And with that, Zach walked forward, deeper into the brush. Zach? Oh, what's a Grootslang? Zach! I grumbled and sprinted forward. We broke into a clearing where Zach put his finger on his lips. He mouthed, "Be quiet." Out of nowhere, a giant black snake-like creature burst out of the trees, lunging at me. It was about 25 feet long, and its mouth had 2 tusk-like fangs in front of dozens of needle-sharp teeth. It had no eyes, and its head was plated like a Dunkleosteus. I jumped out of the way while Zach slashed at the Grootslang's side with his machete. The creature turned and slithered toward me while I grabbed the shotgun. I aimed for the head, as Zach always said, and I fired. Instantly, the Grootslang's head was reduced to nothing more than a bleeding stump. Zach walked up to me.
That is a Grootslang.
I kicked the dead creature to make sure it was dead. Excuse my French, but what the fuckity-fuck is a Grootslang? Zach answered.
It's an invasive cryptid that lives in forests and caves. It originated in South Africa, living in caves and underground tunnels. Poachers brought it to America in 2009, mistaking it for an exotic species of boa they thought they could sell on the illegal pet trade. They usually live in extremely remote areas where humans don't go.
Thanks, David Attenborough, but you knew it was a fucking Grootslang. Why did you come out here knowing that this thing could have shoved our heads up our asses?
Relax, Roger. I've killed these things before,
Zach said.
And I knew you would be too scared to come, so I lied and played dumb. And we killed it so we could eat it.
But how was my presence in any way beneficial? And after I was done raging my ass off at Zach for taking me out there and risking my life, I ate some of the fried snake monster. Surprisingly, the Grootslang was delicious. It tasted like a mix of steak and chicken. It was way better than those disgusting MREs Zach had brought for literally no reason. And if you're wondering how we got a 900-pound Grootslang back to our camp, it took a lot of ropes, and manpower, and explosives. And Zach knew how to fillet and cook a snake, so it was just a bigger version. He used my sword as a fillet knife and magically made it happen. By now, we brought all of the supplies from the boat onto the shore, so we were slightly relaxed, sitting around the campfire, eating a prehistoric snake demon. I need a beer. When do you think help will come? Kyle asked. I said, who the hell knows? This isn't a route most sailors and fishermen take, let alone drug traffickers. Didn't Zach buy this boat off of a drug trafficker? Kyle asked. But actually, what are we going to do until everyone comes here and picks us up? Survive, I guess, I said. That's boring. This is kind of like summer camp and camping, except there's a bunch of giant snake demons around, and we could get brutally murdered at any moment. Which is fine by me. And there's no kids around. Probably. I guess you're right, I said. Let's all just die. And with that, we all called it a night and went into the beached boat, sleeping in the lower decks.
Hey, man.
Ben was standing in front of my bed.
Rise and shine. Everyone's outside. You should come.
Are you serious? I asked.
I don't understand the concept of jokes. So, yeah.
I sighed, said, fuck you, and stood up, walked outside, and stretched. It was a bright and sunny day with not a single cloud in sight. On a regular day, this would have been a good thing, but now this meant sunburns and sweat. I walked down the ramp, looking around at the large camp. It was big now, even unnecessarily so. For a soon-to-be wasted effort, the team had made several fire pits, tents, and shelters scattered along the shore, because half the boat had gotten infested with an extremely black mold and we had to seal off part of it. Zach told me that since I had killed the Grootslangs so easily, I might be useful in what he called, quote, the expedition. Zach, George, Kyle, Ben, and I went into the forest, exploring and searching for any possible threats, which was unnecessary and would only make this even longer. I didn't want to go, but Zach slapped me on the back and said, "Make yourself useful and get your lazy ass up, you little pacifist." So somewhere in the afternoon, I found myself hacking away at trees and brush using my tactical sword machete hybrid. To be honest, I think the gun-crazy men just wanted something to shoot at. That wasn't the crew.
This is boring as hell,
I said.
Quit your bloody whining, kid.
George said.
And besides, what else are you even going to do on this shitty island? Slice watermelons?
I laughed. Yes, I would.
Hey, but at least we found out what killed the Leviathan.
Ben said.
I'm still getting paid, right?
Yeah, I said. That too.
Also, why do you think the Gulper eel wasn't discovered? I mean, planes and boats would have seen it.
This made me stop swinging my sword. Ben was right. The Gulper, which was an enormous creature, would have been discovered by now, unless it just recently appeared. We kept walking until we eventually came across a large clearing. It was about 50 feet in diameter, but the strangest part was there were several very old tents lying around, and old skeletons strewn about. And these were real human skeletons, caked with dried blood, and some of the skeletons were missing limbs, as if something had ripped them off. And the worst part was that there was a massive, very deep hole in the center of the clearing. Oh shit. Something's been here. Zach?
Yeah?
You're seeing this, right?
Yes.
Zach said. You're thinking of investigating, right?
Also yes.
Alright, fuck. You guys never listened to me. Then we heard a dick-chilling roar come from deep inside the hole, followed by the sound of something massive crawling up the tunnel and towards us. And this wasn't a Grootslang. I heard multiple legs skittering at once. I'd also heard what a Grootslang's roar sounded like, and it sure as hell didn't match the roar of whatever creepy shit was down there. And with that, I turned and noped the fuck out of there.